You being a California girl, how did this opportunity present itself to you?
Yeah, well, I lived in Orange County, for the first 18 years of my life. And then I moved to Missouri for school. From there, I just hopped over to New York. And I have been kind of touring ever since I graduated, which has been kind of nice. I say I'm based out of New York, which is where all these opportunities come from. So I haven't really been, in the theater scene at home a whole lot, but this opportunity came from a New York casting director. So I'm lucky enough to be able to participate in that.
Awesome. Okay, so what drew you to the opportunity itself?
Well, I with Chicago, it's such an iconic show. Everybody knows it. I know I learned choreography from it when I was like too small to be doing that. Um, and I think it's always been on my radar, but I never thought it would actually the dream would come into fruition this early in my life. I saw a posting for it while it's actually on tour with a different show last year, like almost about a year ago now, actually. Um, and I saw a listing for it, submitted myself. I'm sure my agents also saw that and helped, further that along. And I was lucky enough that the dates lined up. My last tour ended early May, and the auditions in person for Chicago were like the next week, mid-May. And so I was able to, be there in person and really give everything I could, my time mainly. And it worked out in my favor this time. So very grateful.
Awesome. Well, congratulations and congratulations on playing Velma. I know that
Thank
she's a
you.
really fun and iconic character.
Yes.
So how did you feel when you heard you're going to be casted as Velma?
I'll be honest, I like did not really believe it for a second. I initially was told in person by my agent. I was going in for a regular meeting that we were just going to discuss like my future. I had just moved to the city finally after my first tour, and we were just gonna, chat about my goals and like things that I'd been in for that I was happy with, things that I wasn't really, vibing with. And I walk in, I'm like, I have these list of things I want to talk about. And I walk in, they're like, so we just got an email a few hours ago. How do you feel about being Velma Kelly? And I was like, really good. I feel really good about that. And so I left that. We talked a little bit about it, but it was, very early stages. And I left that meeting and I like tried to convince myself it wasn't real somehow for some reason. Cause I was like, how could like a dream like that just happen to me? Like without like of course I've worked really hard, but it just felt like it happened so fast. And I called some of my friends, I called my mom, and I called my brother, and I was like, I think this just happened, but I don't really know. And they asked, what does that mean? And I was like, I don't know. So it was crazy. It was wild. Love that to say.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm sure
Thank you.
like when you wake up the next morning, you're just like in shock that the dream is reality. It's like the first
Yeah,
thing on your mind, like this is happening, this is fruition. So
it was so
congr
wild.
so congratulations. Super happy for you. And so anyone who hasn't seen the play, can you tell us a little bit about the character that you're playing?
Sure, yes. So they're in Chicago. It's very vaudevillian style. It's not, I would say, not like a typical musical that you're watching. You're watching events unfold in front of you, of course, but it's a very showy. We announce the next person kind of vibe, and so Velma actually gets to begin the show in a way that is very powerful. The ensemble is dancing. They truly begin the show, of course. They're dancing. There's a lot of chaos on stage, and then all of a sudden everything stops and my character enters all by herself, very still, very poised. And I think for the audience that's a moment of, okay, that's a storyteller, we need to, pay attention to this person. And so myself, as well as our Roxy Hart, Ellie Roddy, love her, we are the two leading ladies that have very parallel storylines. They just don't happen at the same time. So you watch Roxy go from her incident, her crime, through going to jail, her trial, and then what happens after that. For me, you see me while I've already committed my crime. I'm already in jail. I'm already working on um, my case with our lawyer Billy Flynn, played by Max Cervantes, and so you see kind of both of us go along the same path, following. She kind of follows me, and what's interesting about Velma is that she is a storyteller, like a narrator, as well as she is fully in the story as well. And so that gives me a cool perspective to be able to kind of break the fourth wall and look at the audience and say, like, you're gonna see some crazy stuff happening on this stage. Like, just you wait. Read between the lines. What you see is not exactly what is happening, you know. But then, of course, I'm in the story and I get to experience all of those things in real time and be, you know, frustrated and be caught off guard and Velma picks herself up and figures it out and comes back with a new plan. And so I think that's really special to kind of be able to do everything.
Yeah, I love it. Um, Playing such an iconic character, how do you balance making Velma your own while honoring her I like iconic character?
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming knowing how many iconic women have played this role, but I decided to kind of flip it on its head and think about that because so many iconic women have played this role, there's no there's no one blueprint and I'm allowed to put my own spin on things while of course just honoring the script itself, really ultimately. I think the best thing I can do is go back to the script, look at of course, what the lines are and not get them wrong, but look at how they're written and the punctuation. And sometimes you look back on a scene and you realize maybe you've not been misinterpreting, but there's just a new interpretation available to you. And I think that helps me keep it fresh a little bit and remember the legacy of the show, and be grateful that I'm a small part of it.
Absolutely. So I know the choreography is probably pretty fun. Was there a number that was the most demanding or the most fun for you?
Ooh, I think those are actually going to be two different answers. I,
Okay.
I always say that a hot honey rag at the very end of the show is my like little treat at the end. I love that number. Initially, it was difficult just because it's very stylized, and I, you know, was coming in not having a lot of Fosse experience, and so initially learning that was very stressful. But now it's just my little like. I always say it's my treat at the end of the show. I love doing it, and it's so fun to do with Ellie and the band, and it's wonderful. I think to like still the most demanding, and I have a feeling every Velmo ever would probably tell you this. I Can't Do It Alone is the song I do towards the end of Act One, and it is just brutal. It's me on stage. Roxy's watching, and I am showing her like my sister act that I used to do with my sister before I killed her, and it's it's a lot of going back and forth between showing off and then checking in with her, showing off, checking in, and I'm singing and dancing and just kind of being a little jester for like a few minutes in a row, and so it's just very demanding to have to hold my breath together to be able to sing and dance at the same time.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So very um just, high level question. What can people expect whenever they come see Chicago?
Yeah, I think people can expect a a lot of, to quote the show, razzle dazzle. But what I hope audiences take away is a stronger message. They're reading between the lines, and this show really it encourages the audience to pull the wool over your eyes and only see what we want you to see. But I think a smart audience member will notice how the script is written very cleverly and understand the message that we're presenting of American media and how bad people, criminals, can get what they want, um, depending on how much money they have, depending on how they flip the media in their favor, no matter who they are, almost. And yeah, so that's what I hope audiences take away, and that's what I hope that they expect to see.
Awesome. Sounds good. Can you tell me a little bit about who's directing the show and who's the choreographer and some other people who are important to putting this on?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am so lucky to have worked with this team. I was a little nervous at first because they are icons, but the three of them have been so lovely. I have our director, David Heislop. He is just the best. He's so wonderful. He's been working with the tour and the Broadway production for years. All three of them have, ultimately. But he's been such a wonderful person to work with because he has so much insight. He's seen they've all seen the show so many times and seen so many iterations of these roles. And even when he comes and checks on the show, he is just so proud of how far we've come and the progress that we've made. And of course, he has a few tweaks here and there, but his energy is very affirming and calming and also exciting at the same time. Gregory Butler is our interim choreographer. He's the one who sets the choreography for the show, and he was a dance captain, um, for this production in the '90s, and he worked with Anne Ranking, who choreographed this revival of the show, which is so special to have someone, if we can't have Anne Ranking, we can at least have Gregory Butler. And even that is not saying, how much insight he has and how honored I am to work with him. He is wonderful. He's so funny and he cares so deeply about this show and he's so passionate about the movement and the whole vision of the show. So he's absolutely wonderful. And we have Robert Billig as our music director, equally as iconic. He knows every word and every beat to the show, and we're just so lucky to be in his presence as and all three of them as men who have worked on this show for longer than I've been alive.
Wow, what an honor. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I do want to ask you a couple more questions and then I'll let you go on your way. So,
Absolutely.
are you excited to come here to Charleston, or is there anything you're looking forward to seeing here?
Uh, yeah, I don't have anything in specific yet, but I do have a lot of friends that are either from the area or went to school around the area, like in our cast, and so they they have recs, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go wherever you tell me to. But my birthday is actually on Friday the 6th that we're in Charleston, and so I'm excited to probably, I don't know, go out and do something there, and so I'm excited to explore a little bit.
That's awesome. We're almost birthday twins. I'm the eighth.
Oh my gosh, yes, Aquarius.
Aquarius, fellow Aquarius.
I love it.
Yeah, there's lots of great food. It's
Yeah.
insane. So, can you tell us when you guys will be here in Charleston?
Yes, we'll be in Charleston the 6th through the 8th. I believe we have 5 shows, so plenty of time to come on down. And we're really thrilled to be there.
Awesome. Sounds good. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Um, I don't think so. I wanted to ask actually if you had any recommendations of things to do in Charleston.
Yeah, oh, there's so much food. I feel like
Oh,
just going out and about and just eating. There's a lot of good restaurants. Downtown is pretty iconic for places to go, and then just like
love.
getting engulfed, just walking around downtown and seeing all the different history, just kind of
Yeah,
you walked in a history book. So that's fun.
love
So
it.
yeah, and there's shopping if you like to shop too. A lot of good stuff
Of
on Main Street.
course.
Yeah, no, it's a
Awesome.
really fun city just to tootle around in with no plan.
Perfect.
So
I love that. That's my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah, just walking down the streets, you'll find something to do. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, I think